Well,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Ugly Ducklings podcast. Today
Hello.
you will have myself, Cameron,
And Keir.
Mr. Cranon.
Hello.
So, episode 2. Back at it again, Keir.
Here we are.
How we feeling? How have we been this week? We're doing this one. We've recorded this one a day later than the other, so it's and a bit more of the week to run by. So, how's it been? How's your week been?
Been a bit rough.
Bit rough. Very rough. Why has it been so bark?
Woof. Just a couple of personal things. Sleeping less. This is the first full week back to the gym.
Yeah.
Which made me feel good. I felt good about it, but I don't know.
You sound hella drained. I'll be honest. Like, you sound like you need to be in bed, fast asleep right now.
Yeah. No. As I say, I felt good about going to the gym.
Yeah.
First week back, it feels good. That does, but you know, a couple of things. Just exhausted.
Yeah. I get you, mate. I get you. It is. We have those weeks, you know. We have those times.
Yeah.
It does get hard, but you know, I mean, that's what this is for. It's for you to sort of. I mean, I've always said to myself and to everyone else who I've shown this and who's listened to it, it's less for me in the sense of getting things by than it is for you and Josh would be. So for you two, I like to think of it like I'm being your therapist almost, because the way I cope with things in my life is by helping others cope with what they're doing. I like playing the therapist, not being the person who needs therapy, because helping others helps me in that sense. That's the gentle soul I have. It likes that sort of thing. So, you know, if you are having rough times and it's something that you're comfortable with talking about on the podcast, then you're more than welcome to, because I'm always going to be here to listen, to help you in any way that I can and or should, because obviously there's certain things that I shouldn't tell you what to do with, because it is your life in the end of it. And yes, we are best buddies. I can't exactly tell you what you need to do with your life. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Nah, it's not that I need therapy, mate. You know, I never really liked the idea of therapy, and to be honest, it bores me. But you know, it's just one of them weeks, and you can never prepare for them. But you can just take it on the chin and be a fucking man about it, and that's exactly what I do every time.
Yeah. Fuck was that? Give all the funny face.
That's me coping with it, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of the same. If I'm having a bit of a shit patch, I take it as it comes and just get on with it, you know?
You take the cum. Piece of blanket.
But no, I just... Fucking... You twat. But no, if I ever have any issues, I'm good at sort of internalising them and dealing with them myself. If I need help with something, I know when I need help, and I go to people, as you know. If I need you or Josh or anyone like that, I will go to you guys if I need the help. But for the most part, I'm very good at coping with things by myself. I think growing up without that father figure there helps in that sense. I sort of learn to be my own man, to look after myself in that way, because I don't have that other authority, so to speak, to turn to in that sort of sense of crisis that some people need. So yeah, in that sense it is good, but you know, I think it would have helped having a dad there, you know. There are some things I do think I have missed out on with that, but at the same time there's things that people that had a dad have missed out on that I have. It's apart from the fact that, you know, they've got a father. But it's more the fact that they've had that father figure there to be a guide for them.
Be careful what you say, mate.
No.
Just because
No.
you don't want to fuck everyone off who's got a dad.
No. That's not what I'm getting at all. I'm just saying there's two sides to each coin, and the fact that yes, it is shit that I didn't have a father, but there's things I got from not having a father that some people that have one wouldn't get. But it's the same vice versa. There's things that I wouldn't get from not having a father that people that have a father would get. So there are two sides to it, you know. It's not like one person's any worse off than another because they've got a dad around or because they haven't got a dad around. We're all human. We all have different ways that we're brought up with, different ways that we all learn from things. So it all just depends on how and what and where you learn from, that sort of thing. It is basic humanity, realistically.
A lot of kids these days don't really need anything to learn from though, because they have YouTube, you know, and that's why we pick up on mannerisms from Joe Weller and such.
Yeah,
you know,
there's quite a few inflections that have come through from him.
You know,
but it's not even like just him. It's like the whole pop culture stuff, like things that become popular, and you know, like the fact that I don't know, we reference a hell of a lot of fucking memes all the time.
That's what I mean. Like, you know, it's not really like sort of back in the day. It used to be very noticeable to be. You could like look at someone, look at another person and be like, yeah, they've got no dad. Like just by the way they act. Yeah. These days, you know, it's not. You can't really tell the difference as such because, you know, kids look up to so many people just on YouTube, even you know, on social media and whatnot. You know, that everyone has someone to look up to. So I think, you know, the whole, you know, oh, I haven't got a dad, whatever. I think really, even the I haven't got a mum or whatever like that. I haven't got this, I haven't got that. You know, whoever in your life, I think is slowly fading away because kids look up to YouTubers more than they do their own parents these days, mate.
It's becoming such a moot point to say, oh, I didn't have this person in my life, so that makes me worse off than you. Because sure, you might not have had that in the physical presence, but when it comes down to your mental and ethical development, a lot of what the typical person needs comes from their influence, from their environment, their surroundings, what they submerge themselves in, that sort of thing. So it's like, as I said, us two, we watched Weller for a long time, so Weller influenced a lot of how we sort of became friends for a while. And then the fact that we reference memes to each other a lot of the time, you know. I mean, there's obviously every friendship group has their inside jokes, that sort of thing, but you also find a lot of what friendship groups have is the references like we have. Because they've had that influence from social media, from outside sources that isn't within their family, they've had that different development. I say different in the sense that it's different to what it used to be because there wasn't the internet back in, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, something like that. So they didn't have that overlaying connection that's as simple as me picking up my phone right here, right now, opening it and going on to Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and just looking through and scrolling through at different things, because that's all stuff that influences us. Even from a very young age, if you were like kids these days get phones younger and younger nowadays. Yeah,
definitely.
Because it's such an easy way. Well, for one thing, that a lot of parents, it keeps the kid happy because it's a good way of entertainment. They can do it themselves. It keeps them entertained for hours because it's there, ready for them. But then on the flip side, and I'm starting to see this side of it quite a bit. The problem with having phones at such a young age is you become so fine-tuned to using one and having one all the time. It's like having a second limb. Like if you lose your phone, it's like losing an arm. It's ridiculous.
I also find
ridiculous,
you know,
but it's not.
Things like manners, you know, that cost not a penny.
Yeah.
Manners are, you know, I'm seeing more and more people that just haven't got a fucking clue what manners are, mate. And you know, I hate you know them people that just fucking, they're in a queue, or like you're talking to them in a shop, or like, you know, say for example you're serving a customer in a shop, and you'll be talking to them and they'll be on their phone, and you know they'll be at the till, they've come to you for help, but they're the one on their phone. I just think fuck off. Or like even one of your mates, even, you know, you're trying to have a conversation, or you're trying to do something, and they're just standing there on their phone. It just fucks me off.
It's shit, because like,
but then again, on the flip side of that, even you don't know what that person's going through. They could be you know, they could be having a conversation with someone they haven't spoke to for like 10 years. So again, but this world is so confusing, mate, and you need to be careful.
But then you see with that as well is they might be going through something, but that still comes down to the manners of, so if they're going through something and they're talking to someone they've not spoken to in a long time, then it's more courteous to say, could we hold this conversation while I speak to this person on my phone? I would do that, because then it's like, I know I'm not being rude to you, because you know what I'm going through in that moment, and then I'll come back to you and join the conversation again.
Get out the fucking shop, mate.
Oh no, it's
just
different. It's different when it's customers, because like if they've come up to you, so like where you work at Millets, so say they're coming up to you and asking you about a bag or something, and then they just start going on their phone or something like that, looking up like something else about the bag and just not listening to you at all. Well, what was the point? You were going to look at your phone anyway. Why bother coming to me if you're just going to be rude and not ask me about that sort of thing?
That annoys me.
It's like, there's no point in coming up and asking someone for something like that if you're just going to turn your attention away somewhere else, because you're not invested in the conversation, you're not willing to have that conversation, you did it purely just to look like you're going to be in that conversation, and you're not. There's no point you being there, so just go back to what you were doing and look it up yourself. Because I mean, I must admit, I probably say I'm more on the antisocial side than I am the social. I'm a bit of an introvert than an extrovert, because I'm quite good at being self-sufficient, as I've said. I'm good at doing things for myself, and that sort of puts me on the introverted side. I interact less with people. I mean, hell, I've been single for fucking year and a half now, and I haven't bothered to even go looking. Yeah. It's been a year and a half.
I thought, really?
Or thereabouts. It's just shy a year and a half, but it's been a while.
Year and a half?
It
doesn't seem like that long ago.
It doesn't seem it, but it was. It really was. It was quite a while.
Jesus.
But yeah, it's manners and common courtesy and chivalry. Very much a dead thing these days. I try to be chivalrous wherever I can, down to the point where if I'm walking alongside the road and there's people I'm walking with, I'll put myself in position closest to the road, purely for the sake that, I mean, it's a very extreme example, but if a car comes off the road, I'm the first one hit, and I can push everyone else out the way so they don't get hit, because that's, in my mind, that's the chivalrous thing to do. And I was brought up that way, because I mean, my mum's very caring. She's loved me from end to end. It's not to say no one else's mum does, but there are parents out there that don't, and because of that, their kids aren't raised properly. But that's deviating from subject. So I think, as you say, manners don't cost a thing. They're free. It doesn't hurt to say thank you, to say please, to actually listen to someone. It's free. It's a free thing for you to give out, which you get more from than you could from anything.
Which brings us on to our free give. No, I'm joking.
It's on to our free giveaway. We're giving away this lovely empty Cherry Relentless can.
Today I'm giving away manners. Thank you.
So please like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell, and share with all your friends, because we are the Ugly Ducklings. No. What's a good thing that's happened to you this week?
Now you're asking.
Oh no. Oh no. I'll tell you another bad thing that happened to me. I mean, I've already told you, but it's been a bit icy in the UK the last week. It's been a little chilly, been a little bit chilly around the willy, and as I said in the last episode, I'm a motorcyclist, and ice and motorbikes don't mix well, and I found out the true meaning of that the other day. So just Tuesday morning, I was riding home from work at 5 in the morning because I work night shifts, and I turned up this junction to go up a hill at a T-junction, and there's this drain that's been seeping out water for the last few days, for the last few weeks, sorry. But this water was hot, and it was steam coming out of this drain, and I could see that the water was running. So to me, it didn't look like that there was any ice there or anything. Little did I know, as soon as I've slowed down to about 10 miles an hour and I'm on top of this little patch of water, I turn the bar just the tiniest bit to the right, and down he goes. Straight onto the floor. I've got a hole in my glove. I've scratched up the bike, so there's scratches on the brake lever on the right hand side. There's scratches on the end of the handlebar on the right hand side, and then there's scratches on the armour on the exhaust.
What a cunt.
Yeah. This guy, right back in here. This one right.
I do actually have a story, and it's to do with the ice as well. So, I went to go pick up some bits, like wind deflectors for the car. Because usually they're like, well, for like like a 4-door car anyway, they're quite expensive. So I picked some up cheap. I think it was like 15 quid for the lot. Anyway, I went to go fill up with diesel after, and because it was so cold, and I don't know what it is, but it's a common problem with Volkswagens, like the locks, door handles and stuff like that, they just shit. Yeah. Like in the cold, they get brittle and stuff like that. So my door locks are fucked already, but I tried to fill up with diesel, and because of the cold, the cap, you usually just hit it and it pops open. Well, it wasn't doing that, so I was stood there for about half an hour trying to pry it open with a key. Bent a lot of keys. Oh no. Yeah, they're not shop keys, so that's all good. But then I ended up just getting so wound up with it. I wedged my fingers underneath it and ripped the fucking thing off. So it's got no fuel cap.
Oh no! As in like the shield cap that's on the outside.
Yeah, not the actual
nozzle.
No, not the nozzle. No,
I was gonna say if you had that,
I've got half of it. I've got half of the cap. Yeah. The lid. I mean, it's half of it's on, half of it's off. I mean, it's an easy fix, you know. Just go to a breaker's yard or whatever. Just, you know, there's a lot of 9N3s in the scrap yards. So, but it's just one of them things, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
I do like that car though.
Yeah.
It's good.
It is from the last few. It's certainly one of the better ones, and suits your purpose very well. Yeah, and it's the fact that, you know, you've got all working windows, you've got functioning heating, AC. It certainly is one of the better ones in terms of like from when you got it, just the standard when you got it, to what it is now. It's still a good car, and like it came with everything working, sort of thing, and it's not an expensive car to run either. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a Volkswagen. Volkswagens are higher insurance brackets than other cars, but it's still not super expensive like the diesels or the Mondeo.
Well, it is a diesel, but it's because of the technology that goes into that kind of Volkswagen engine. That's why it's £30 a year road tax. But yeah, no, I definitely get what you mean there. I don't know, it's just, I do like the car, I love the car, and you know, I feel like I've got a bond with the car for some reason, you know.
But you know, there's more.
There's I don't know, it's just something missing from it. It just doesn't feel like it's me, and I think that's probably because I saw someone else own it. I watched someone else do bits to it and stuff like that. That's probably why.
You haven't put your touch to it. Yeah. And I suppose that's the same with anything, really. It doesn't really feel like yours until you've done something to make it yours. I mean, hey, I can't speak for myself because I haven't done anything to this bike other than change the oil and change the fender. I still haven't done that. But yeah, it's always been like that. It's a case of finding a way of making something really feel like yours, to really make it feel like yours.
Homey touches.
Yeah. It's the simple things, you see. It's what you want it done, not what anyone else wants it done. Know what I mean? Do you? Know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Are you sure?
Yes. Fucking hell, mate. Jesus Christ. I'm fucking shattered.
Yeah. You look it, mate.
Yeah.
You look it. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm pretty tired as well, but that's because at the weekend I try not to sleep too much. Because otherwise I don't sleep.
Because otherwise, yeah. I was thinking about that earlier. Do you just like... So, like, during the weekends, obviously you'll sleep. But then, like, on the Sunday night, do you just not sleep, and then Monday during the day you'll sleep, and then Monday night you'll wake up?
So, normal routine. So, say I'm doing something every day. So, I'm doing the Saturday and Sunday. I finish 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. I stay up, go to Slim World, do all that. Come home by sort of 9:30, 10ish. And then I'll sleep until about 1, maybe 2 o'clock. So
in the
morning? Get 2 in the afternoon. So I'm gonna get 2-3 hours.
You do Slim World in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I get 2-3 hours. Then I wake up for the afternoon. So if I'm going out in the evening, I can go out in the evening because I've had that small recharge to get myself going. And then by the time it comes to Saturday evening, I'm ready to go to bed. I'll go to sleep in the evening. I'll wake up Sunday morning, maybe 9, 10 o'clock, maybe 11, if I need to. Run all of Sunday until about 2-3 in the morning, and then I'll go to sleep because then I've sort of pushed it back to where my sleep pattern was before during the night. So I've balanced it so where I have pretty much all of Sunday and I have this whole Saturday afternoon and evening, so where I can function without having to be too tired. And it's worked quite well so far. I mean, Christmas sort of ruined it because the way the night team was worked was we were split over 5 days. Normally, like throughout the year, but over Christmas we did a month where we were split over 6 days, and then the last 2 weeks before Christmas we split over 7. So we had to operate a 7-day week. With just the same amount of people that we had, so we were split across the 7 days rather than just all being on the 5, which stretched us thin, especially in Christmas. We really didn't need that at all because it was too much stress. I mean, we were 2 people down, and it just fucking hell. Stop yawning, Cameron. It stretched us thin, and it made us all very tired and angsty and exhausted and stressed, and just we couldn't bear it. So, well, we bore it enough to get through because still alive, still here.
Yeah, to be honest, mate, I sort of do that as well. So like for example, Wednesday, I'm not at work until 6 in the evening, and I'm staying there till 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because we've got some people coming in to fix a door heater, which hasn't been fixed for 10 fucking years. So it's about fucking time too. But they're coming in to fix it. They're going to put it in, and so the store will be warm, which will restore morale. But what I'm getting at is, that's like 6 in the evening until 2 in the morning. Yeah. Now any normal person would be like, yeah, fuck that. But I'm just lucky to, I know this sort of circumstances I was born into. As I've said, I'm not from the richest family, nor do I want to be either. To be honest with you, to be quite frank, but just lucky to have the chances, be given chances like to have a job. Yeah. Because when I really needed to get out of my last job, my mate Rob, who really saved my skin.
Yeah.
He could have just easily sat there and gone, oh, you know
Mm.
what? Nah, fuck that. Kid don't need a job here.
Yeah.
But he rang me up and was like, yeah. So I'm lucky, you know, and I consider myself lucky to even have a job, because some people, you know, they for whatever reason simply can't find a job that suits them, or they just literally cannot find a job, you know, or know they're struggling in other departments of life where, you know, a job is kind of the last thing on their mind. So I'm kind of lucky, you know, and I'm lucky I've got the headspace to sort of just put my head down and fucking get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, I quite like working. It's good. I do like working.
I find there's something fulfilling about it. Like, especially if you do a good job. Like, there's a difference between enjoying your job and doing good and being good at your job. I'm good at my job. It's not to say I enjoy it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't hate my job. If I hated my job, I wouldn't be there, because there's no point suffering for the sake of someone else. No. Especially for a corporate company. Money. Yeah, exactly. So, I again, like you, I feel lucky that I have the job, because if I didn't have the job, then I don't know where I would be. I mean, I must have made 200, 300, 400 plus applications to places. All of them got denied until one Christmas, M&S actually took it in.
I remember that, actually. It was during COVID.
It was what was it?
It was 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, because remember, everything was cool. Everything was like, you know, everything was sweet. In like April, May time of 2020, everyone was like, oh yeah, we can go out again, blah blah. And then when it came round to sort of like the end of November, everyone, like the government were like, yeah, like fuck off, like this is getting way out of hand now, so we're gonna put you back in another lockdown. Yeah.
And luckily, because I worked retail, I could still go to work. I wasn't put on, what was it? Furlough, where I'd only have 80% of my pay.
Yeah, I did though. Well, you had 80%, and then so the business would pay 80%, and then the government would pay the extra 20%. Do you remember that? But then I think it was like after the restrictions got lifted, and like places like Millets where I work and other retailers could open up again. If you still were self-isolating and didn't want to go back to work, you could. They extended the furlough period for people that were too scared.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
But then,
I mean, it's like some people at my store still went on furlough, because it's like the vulnerable,
of course,
the elderly, they all went on furlough, that sort of thing. But because I wasn't in that category, I didn't need to. If I was worried about it, I could have, but I wasn't, because I don't live with anyone who's at risk or anything like that. We're all perfectly healthy as a family, so we don't need to worry about having to worry about the risks of COVID if it got into the household, because we'd all get ill and that, and sure, you don't necessarily know the risks, but we weren't as high a risk as everyone else was. And because we were a supermarket, we were classed as an essential, so we had to stay open because people needed food, they needed
that's the difference. Like, you know, Millets isn't really essential, which I find actually quite annoying, because we, during lockdown, even the really big lockdown period, like during the whole pandemic, we were all told to sort of keep active. You know, we were allowed out for walks and stuff like that, which pissed me off, because we could have easily stayed open, only allowed like sort of, you know, like 6 customers at a time.
Yeah.
You know, put a barrier up at the door or something like that. But then again, saying that, I don't know if you remember, but you know, I did the second lockdown anyway. Up until I reckon probably, I don't know, probably the end of January. I think Millets, well, just JD PLC as a whole, they allowed our stores to be used as like warehouses, so to speak.
Yeah.
So like we used the ship from store. That's where ship from store first started.
Yeah.
And we would go in. We would do Sunday hours, so 10 till 4, and we would only do online orders, picking and packing. Yeah. Which was good, because we were on furlough, but then we were also earning, just coming in to earn as well. Yeah. Which was really fun. But then I think it was like at the end of January, they stopped it completely. and that was, you know, it was horrible. I didn't know what to do, and then obviously, you know, I was offered a job on the bins, which was cool. But now I'm back at minutes, and I love it.
Bin monkey.
Yeah.
I mean, the bins job wasn't horrendous either. Certainly not compared to the other one.
No, it was good. I got my face about a bit, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, I got to learn a few things, got to teach a few things as well. You know, I met loads of people that were really, you know, really nice. Loads of people that were, you know, fucking arse wipes. But
as you do everywhere.
Oh, of course, yeah. But yeah, it was a good job. Yeah. I enjoyed that. What's happened on the internet this week?
What's happened on the internet?
What's happened on the internet?
Let's have a look at what the top news article is. So we have got. Apparently, we're getting another snow bomb in the UK soon. So apparently, especially in the northern areas, it's meant to get to much more sub-zero temperatures, and they're meant to be carpet bombed by just snow, like inches and inches and inches of it.
Hell.
So we've got yet more snow coming. And it's like, well, what's that then? I've had enough. I just want the summer. I want.
Yeah, you know, I cannot
weather.
wait for them shorts and t-shirt weather.
But like, you know it. I can't wait to be able to get my leathers and my jeans on my motorbike and just feel like myself on my bike.
Yeah.
Again. Not wearing those clumpy, shitty waterproofs that only cover 3/4 of my bloody chest.
Oh,
literally, there was one day I was riding back from work and it pissed it down. And on my waterproof jacket did nothing for me other than my top left corner of my torso. My top left corner of my torso completely dry. Everywhere else soaked. I was like, well, you're supposed to be waterproof. And I'm soaked. What's that then? What are you doing that for?
What else we got?
We've got, apparently, a gritter lorry has been tipped over on the Finn Farm roundabout near Ashford. They closed the road because some gritter lorry had tipped over. From what it looks like, it's one of those roundabouts where it's got the slopes sort of at the sides, and because they've got to get quite close to it to cover the whole roundabout, I think it looks like they got too close, went up and bumped on the roundabout and managed to tip a whole gritter lorry over sideways.
Don't forget as well, in Ashford, I don't know if that's the one, but Ashford has one of the biggest roundabouts.
It's definitely not that one. It's no, it definitely doesn't look like that one. Oh my god, there's an advert on this news site that says podcast drink driving.
Fucking what?
There's a podcast about drink driving, and it's from 0 seconds to 0 seconds in length.
Well, they go in depth about that, don't they?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Basically, just don't do it.
Yeah. That's all you need to take from that, is the fact that you should not and will not and never will drink drive.
Absolutely.
Or be under the influence of anything. It's like, even like paracetamol, that sort of thing. If you need to take a high dose of it, check what your dose limit is and how much you can have before you can't drive again. Because stuff like that, it can affect you. Because paracetamol and ibuprofen, because they're pain relievers, it tends to slow your body down a bit. So what that does is it then makes you start feeling a bit drowsy, a bit tired. So if you've had too much of that, then you can fall asleep. And something like, especially if you're on a long laborious journey where you're doing mostly motorways, it's pretty plain and linear what you're doing, so you're not going to have much in the way of entertainment to keep you awake, sort of thing.
Oh mate, I used to fucking hate that. I used to be so scared on the drive home.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate. So you're going to have to inform me on this, because I haven't been keeping up to date with Mr. Tate.
Okay, yeah.
Top G.
So he got arrested. He blamed the Matrix, of course.
Of course.
As
you do.
I believe, I'm not fully informed on it myself, to be honest, but you know, I do like Andrew Tate. You know, I agree with a lot of things he says. As I've said before, he's. Let's be honest, yeah, and you know, no one can tell me different. He is what everyone thinks in the back of their mind. He is that thought in your head that's like, oh well, you know, fuck this and fuck that. Like he is. He genuinely is. But
Yeah.
so he got arrested. I believe it's for like a charge on human trafficking or something. Basically, it was to do with someone that had reported him for it, and they're investigating it. Oh, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
That activist, you know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so so something to do with her. He got arrested, so did his brother. They're tweeting from prison, stuff like, you know, I can't wait to get out. I've met someone in here that can't afford to give their daughter a proper surgery, so
Yeah.
you know, as soon as I come out, I'm going to do that. That was Tristan. Andrew tweeted, you know, he's allowed 5 visitors. 4 of them are family. One of them is Aidan Ross.
Of course.
Of course. Which, you know, it's quite funny how their friendship is. But
Aidan Ross, of all people, he's becoming Andrew Tate. Like, he shaved his head now.
I've seen
he's growing out the Tate beard and all that sort of thing. He's turning into a mini me for Andrew Tate.
Yeah. No, I do like they're funny together as well. But there was a video of that Thunberg woman, and she got escorted from somewhere. I can't remember where it was. She got escorted from somewhere by some officials.
Yeah.
And if you actually look at the guy on the left, there's a picture. The guy on the left. I noticed it as well when I saw it, but his eyes, like, you can only obviously see like sort of this part.
Yeah.
Like sort of his eyes, his eyebrows, and his dimples sort of here, and it literally looks like Andrew Tate, which wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I believe so. When he got arrested, he was going to be released in like 30 days on that date, and then for some reason they've pushed it back. I think he's still in there. I'm not too sure, but there's been so many protests around the world, like free Andrew Tate, free the Tates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's one of them things, like, you know how Jimmy Savile was, like, not to bring up his name, I hate bringing up his name because it is disgusting.
Yeah.
But sort of like he did so many nice things, but due to the revelation of the bad things he did, not one of those good things can counteract any of the bad things he did. Of course, you know, rightly so as well. You know, I'm not disagreeing with that, but like, you know, Andrew Tate, he opened an orphanage, and it was called the Andrew Tate something or other. And you know, he paid out of his hard-earned money, you know, to furnish and look after these kids.
Yeah.
You know, there's videos of Tristan Tate where his neighbour was saying sorry about her child making noise about the cars, and he took the child, you know, into his house and showed him all the cars he's got and everything.
Yeah. And
I sort of feel like it wouldn't come as a surprise, I think, to anyone, to have hard evidence slapped in their face of Andrew and Tristan Tate being up to no good in that sort of sense, like human trafficking or whatever, or even something as little as tax fraud or something like that. Because again, like, it's sort of like an act of Savile, where, you know, behind the scenes he was doing like some of the most disgusting things in history, and the BBC knew about it, but yet I feel like with him, he sort of just, in his head, he was like, well, it doesn't matter what I'm doing behind closed doors because look at what I'm doing for everyone around me. You know, so I don't know. I don't want to believe that any of the rumours about Andrew Tate and why he's been arrested are true. I really don't, because as I said, I'm a fan of Andrew Tate. I really am. But all I'm saying is, it wouldn't come as a surprise to me, because, you know, he's got a lot of money. Yeah. And when you got a lot of money, you know, sometimes without even knowing it, it can get to your head.
Yeah, the problem with money is you got power crazy.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that he has, but because money affects people in different ways. I mean, look at Elon Musk. He's just bought Twitter, and he's gone crazy with it. Like, you can pay to be verified now. Well, why would you pay to be verified if you're not a verifiable person? Because sure, you might be you, but to be verified is to have some level of fame. And
that's the thing. That's what the sort of verification, like little ticks on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, whatever it is you're using.
Yeah.
Or for Snapchat, it's like a fucking little star.
Yeah.
But like that's what the verification symbol is for. It's to show that this person is who they say they are.
Yeah.
And now that you can buy it, we're just going back to square one, where like
exactly, yeah,
you know, scammers and hackers and you know, online trolls and stuff like that will now come around again because they now have a chance to disguise themselves again.
Exactly.
You know,
and it's stupid. It's like, sure, you wanted to do it for fucking hell. Stop yawning. Sure, you wanted to do it for everyone's sake of saying that they are who they are, but as you said, it's a case that other people will take advantage of that and do it and use it for the worst.
No, but surely, like, so say for example, I make an account by the name of Justin Bieber, just purely for example, and I pay to get that account verified. Surely, you know, with the technology we have, with the AI we have, with the, you know, surely there should be some sort of way that your verification will get rejected just purely because you're trying to make an account using Justin Bieber's name. That's plagiarism at the end of the day. Like, it's plagiarism. Yeah. So surely there should be sort of some set, like with YouTube. You know, they do get checked, like the videos get checked by, you know, real life people occasionally, but like a lot of the time there'll be sort of like a, I don't know, like a robot or like AI.
They have an algorithm.
Yeah, an algorithm that will check your video over, and if there's anything bad, then it will get demonetized. So surely there should be something like that as well on Twitter and stuff like that Elon Musk is using.
The thing is, I think there is, but because with YouTube, because the way it's been operating for so long, and how so many people use YouTube in a certain way, the algorithms change so much and has been developed so much that it's so fine-tuned to what is and what isn't. Whereas something like Twitter, a recently repurchased and re-owned company that's only recently brought into light the idea of a verification, paying for it at least. They wouldn't have that developed algorithm. So, for instance, you could say you had the username Justin Bieber, but say I then went and made Justin.Bieber. That would pass through the system because it's a different username. Just that dot makes all the difference. It doesn't pick up on the fact that there's the same words in it or anything like that. It's because it's set different, it comes up different, and then that'll pass through the system without any fault. So what they need to do is to fine-tune it to where the whole system actually is able to pick up on where it's got specific words that are used in other accounts as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, you could have...
Well, that's why they have, like on an iPhone, you have two-step authentication. You know, so, I don't know, maybe when you're famous, you know, I don't know, but sort of, I imagine when you're famous, you have a social person who has an email address who will set up your social media for you, and it will get verified like that. Yeah. But it's all swings and roundabouts, really. Yeah, you know, scammers are clever, mate. I had a woman come in the other day, right? And obviously we're a DPD drop-off point, and she said to me that she'd obviously bought in a package, and it was an iPhone, brand new iPhone that needed to get sent back to Apple, and these scammers or hackers, whoever they are, were so on it and so clever about it. So she requested that her iPhone get sent back. Now, Apple need to send you obviously a printing label. So you print that off, you stick it on the packaging, so that the DPD driver knows where it's going, obviously. Yeah. Now, these scammers, whoever they are, cottoned on to the fact that she was in the process of doing that,
Mm.
they sent her an email before Apple could send her an email with a printing label
Mm.
on it. They sent her an email basically saying, yeah, we're Apple, we're using DPD, this is the address you need to send it to. And I looked into it for her. It was quite difficult actually.
Yeah.
I did a bit of sleuthing. I called up DPD. We tracked it down.
Yeah.
And it was sent to a store. Now, it still went to London. Now this is how clever they are. So they used Regent Street instead of Oxford Street.
Right.
And the address that they've put is it's called Reserve Store.
Mm.
That's what it's called, or something like that. And yeah, so they've sent her this address to send it to
Yeah.
before Apple can even get to her. Like how mental is that? Like you could be, they know your next move basically.
Mm.
That's mental, I think.
Yeah.
How they can send that to you, they can forward that to you.
Yeah.
Before Apple even does.
Mm.
But bless her, she was so upset about it, and there was nothing I could do except tell her like, yeah, like you've been scammed.
Mm.
You know, but then again, it's free money, isn't it?
Free money. Well, the thing is, the free money. It's not really the point of it. It's the fact that she's been scammed. That's what's the takeaway from it. And because she's unfortunately fallen for the scam, she's lost out on that iPhone or whatever it was.
It was an iPhone, yeah.
So she's lost out on that because the scammers were on it faster than these corporate companies are. And
they're so clever though. Like hackers, like, do you remember when the GTA 6 leaks were released?
Yeah.
That was mental. And he was literally the guy who done that was literally like on not on Reddit. I can't remember what it's called. Discord maybe, I don't know. But he was literally like blackmailing them and basically holding their product hostage.
Yeah.
And all the coding and stuff like that, like to make the game.
Yeah.
Which I think is mental. Like one man did that. It's insane. Yeah. There's some clever people. You got to be clever with it. You really do. Yeah, you also got to have a lot of time on your hands.
Well, there's people that are basically like fucking supercomputers in themselves. Like, they don't need the time on their hands because they can program something that will give them the time to get everything they need.
I watched a thing as well, and there was this guy who basically uses this website, and you can buy people's bank accounts, and literally it's so easy to get to. It's not on the dark web or anything like that. You literally buy people's bank accounts, and don't get me wrong, it's like 30-40 quid or whatever, but like it's like a sort of lucky dip. So you'll buy someone's bank account for like 40 quid. You're like, basically what I mean by buy their bank account, you don't just buy it and then like you own their card or whatever. You buy the account, so you get all the details to that account. You even down to sort of like security questions and answers. Yeah. You get, and this guy was like buys them, and he's had, he's used people's bank accounts for trips away to Dubai, luxury meals out, stuff like that, and it's mental. But there was this, he was saying about someone that he knows that's used it, that basically they've used like loads of different people's bank accounts to purchase kitchen appliances, like but not like little kettles and toasters and shit, like industrial dishwashers and industrial cookers and ovens and shit like that. And they've made a business out of it, and now the business is booming. And that started from literally, someone being silly enough to input their credentials into some scam website, which I think is mental. But
the thing is as well is you find a lot of the reason why people fall for scams, especially like elderly people, is they're not taught how to look for a scam. So I'm very cautious with phone calls, with texts, with emails. I'm cautious with everything because I will go down even to the point of reading what an email address is, because I can catch it out just from an email. So it's like, say I had an email from Microsoft or something, I might have another email from a scammer, but instead of it being an S, it might be a $sign.
Yeah.
Something like that, or it might be a 5.
No, that's what I was gonna say, because I've had loads and loads of like scam emails, and the reason you know it's fake is because it'll be like, oh, Microsoft, use Klarna to do this, and it's like the currency they use is dollars.
Yeah.
See, scammers can be quite clever, but they also can just be outright stupid.
Yeah.
But I think that's sort of like a stab in the dark, if you will, because I think what they do is they just gather like loads of people's details, and they send them like these links and stuff like that, and if one happens to be an American that uses the US currency, then that's fine. But I've had loads where it's like, oh yeah, $20,000 in your account today and shit like that, and it's like, shut up, mate, I'm literally British.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, literally don't care, mate.
The only thing I buy where it has to be bought in dollars is that Gamer Subs that I was talking about last episode, because it's shipped from America, so they do it in US dollars. But that's the only thing that I buy in that currency. I don't have to buy anything else in it, because every website I use has the Great British Pound translation. They change it into what the Great British Pound value is, so I don't have to worry about that sort of thing for everything else that I buy. But it's just, I do feel bad, especially for like elderly people, because they never grew up with the internet like we did. They were never taught how to properly look out for a scam, which leaves it down to us younger people to teach them what's a scam, what isn't a scam, when they should give out money, when they shouldn't be giving out money, that sort of thing. Yeah,
but again, going back to like common courtesy and manners and stuff like that, like back in the day, I don't think so. For example, right, we'll take little Judith, right, an old lady, right. So she's got a new iPhone, and some scammers have conned onto the fact that she's a very elderly woman.
Yeah.
If she gets sent a text message that says, "Oh, you've won £10,000. Click the link below to claim it," or
God, yeah.
I don't think elderly people who, haven't been brought up with technology like we have, would sit there and think, "Nah, it's a scam." No one would be, that stupid to do that. But I think elderly people are like, "Oh wow, that's generous," or whatever. I don't think they think, "Oh no, there's no way someone's trying to be that relentless towards me." Do you know what I mean? Over the internet, especially. I think it comes down to like what area you were born in. Yeah. Because like us, like we can tell the difference between a scam and what's real. Yeah. Like almost immediately. You don't even have to look at it twice. Whereas an old woman or an old man, would probably be like, well, why would this person be scamming me? It's got to be real. Yeah.
It's like my mum.
Like common sense has evolved. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
It was like my mum's pretty well adept with technology and that sort of thing. She sort of has to for her job. But there's times when she's been caught out by a scam, and where I've sort of called her up on it, I've shown her why it's a scam, that sort of thing. So it's a case of, now that she knows that's a thing, she'll look out for it. But because a lot of the time people aren't shown what it is, they're not able to look out for it because they don't know what they're looking for.
But that's the thing though, that like, as much as I say like common sense has evolved, like not to offend anyone, but again, scammers' methods and hackers' methods are changing all the time. Like I saw on YouTube, like I keep seeing this fucking and my mate from work as well, he had it pop up where it was a Mr. Beast video. Now this is why and this is why I don't know how this worked. I don't know if it was actually them trying to scam people, or if someone has just done a shit like video or whatever. Yeah. But it's Mr. Beast, and it pops up as an ad, and it says, claim your free piece of land or something like that, and it's Mr. Beast going, "Oh look, what piece of land have we got today? Blah 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 blah. Let's send it to this random person."
There was a company who did a sponsor with where they would buy. So there's a company based in America, and then there's a company based in the UK. There's one based in America that you can buy a small piece of land, and become a lord or whatever. And what they did is on that bit of land you bought, they like replanted trees, that sort of thing. That's not part of Mr. Beast's Team Trees thing. It's something else entirely. It's a different company. And then in the UK, there's a section of the Scottish Highlands where you can buy a piece of land, and they do tree restoration, replanting, that sort of thing, regeneration. When you buy a section of that land.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. It came up with like a piece of land or whatever, and then it was like something about real estate as well. And I kept seeing all these different ones, and it was all including Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how many fucking sponsors does he have, mate? Jesus.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The guy has fucking so many.
Oh yeah.
He gets fair, out of wazoo.
He seriously has. He's definitely got his finger in a lot of pies.
He's aced the game, basically.
Oh yeah, he's finessed the game.
What the YouTube format is he has it down to a T, and he knows what he's doing, and he knows what he's doing, and that makes him that bit more powerful as well.
Absolutely, because he's not like, back in the day, like the old YouTubers, like for example Tanner Fox, who for a good few years was getting millions of views per video, earning a good amount. Like, he was very popular back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And buying the R35 Skyline, modding it.
Or was it Guaczilla?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But he's not like that at all.
No.
Yeah, he doesn't drive a fancy car. I don't believe, does he?
I mean, I've not watched him since Guaczilla age. I've not watched him.
No, I mean Mr. Beast.
Oh, Mr. Beast. I mean, he's more the case of like he'll buy a house and give it to a friend.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing with him.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like he's on top of what he's doing. Very, 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 very disciplined as well. He doesn't not disciplined in the sense that I must get up today and record a really, really funny video. He's disciplined in the sense that, like, yes, he has a fuck ton of money, but he doesn't have to spend it all. And if he does, then it'll be for something productive like a video.
That's what I mean. I was about to say, he was like, a lot of the time, any money he earns, it's mostly reinvested. And he'll use the money he earns from that video and put it back in and keep reinvesting into the videos, because that's how they get bigger and bigger and bigger, because you can't grow a channel without reinvestment with it. I mean, it's like with this, we'll probably be reinvesting anything we earn from it for a while by upgrading equipment, getting cameras, that sort of thing, because that's how you grow in this sort of platform.
Absolutely. And talking about growing as well, Prime by KSI and Logan Paul. Now, when that first came out, I don't know why, but I was thinking, like, it's just another like shitty YouTube collab. Two YouTubers have come together. They've made a fucking shitty drink. But it's done well, mate.
Yeah. It's doing well.
It's doing very, very well. But there was Logan Paul was on headlines on social media type news. Something about an alleged rumour or something like that. I don't know what that was
like
all
a
about.
Scam or something like that.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Scandal. Yeah, but it's doing very, very well, which is surprising because, as I said, I just thought he'd be one of them.
Well, that's the thing with KSI. It's like you look at the Sidemen. There's no half-arsing it with him. He goes all out. You look at his boxing. He goes all out.
Yeah, mate, he's a fucking mate. Did you see those fights? Did the little left-right good night, literally?
Mate, that he clocked him.
Oh yeah,
clocked him. He was down, and there was no getting back up in time.
I liked it though because he did the classic sort of, try and tire him out a little bit, and he was getting in some good shots, and he literally did the classic like wait for an opportunity. He saw the opportunity, 1-2, done. Like literally knockdown. Mental. I thought he's a good fighter. Yeah. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Yeah. Jake Paul wants to fight him because of his brother's loss against KSI. KSI will fuck him up. I reckon he will.
Don't get me wrong, Jake Paul is a good fighter.
He is now. To be fair, he is good.
He's in good form. and I think it will be a fight of all fights. Like, they're both gonna want it just
absolutely,
as much
but
as the other.
I just believe KSI has the ability to sort of just
when KSI wants,
look. He has the ability to see a window and take it immediately, and he's good.
When KSI wants, KSI gets, and he is so good at the discipline and the correct mindset of just focusing and going for what he wants.
Did you see his transformation?
Mm.
So obviously, like last year, he had a fight. I think it was like it was like July, August time. Do you remember?
Mm.
No way, it's died.
Was it?
Yeah. It just flashed. But basically, like he took a video of himself in January 2022.
So I'll just mark this moment. The elf bar that I was talking about in the last episode has just died right here, right now. It is now going in the bin. No more elf bars for Cameron Head. That's it. He's done.
That's mental.
You were saying?
What was I saying?
Something about Jake Paul, fucking Jake Paul fighting somebody else, I think.
No, okay, so in January 2022, KSI put a post up of like how he was, like what shape he was in, and you know he had a bit of a belly on him, like quite a beer gut actually.
Yeah.
And then
he'd done his bulk.
By the time he came around to like June, July, he posted another video. And he was fucking hench. He definitely knows what he's doing.
He knows how to get ripped quick. And the thing is, it's not a case of, oh, I just need to cut the fat out completely. It's not that. He took that fat and he turned it into muscle. That was
it. Because he was training. He had 2 fights in one night. He had that Swarms fight, which he fucked him up. And then he had that professional boxer as well that he was fighting. And he came in and he did I don't know, it's sort of, I feel like everyone was like, oh, he's just being big headed, like doing 2 fights, he's biting off more than he can chew.
Yeah.
But he fucking delivered, mate.
Yeah.
He actually did, and fair play to him for that. That was a mental night for fight wise. But I saw someone who likes to talk a lot of shit, Ryan Taylor, who, you know, was a BMX YouTuber.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to watch him. He used to be quite funny.
I did too.
But I don't know anymore. But he was fighting someone. He was fighting Swarms. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like last week or the week before, and Swarms hit him in the eye, and he couldn't see anything out of his eye.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's sort of like a wake up call for him, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because now he's going to look at that and be like, "Fuck, okay." You know, things can actually happen from this.
Yeah. You got to be careful with that sort of thing. But as it is, it's a fighting sport, so there is going to be injuries and that sort of thing.
Definitely. There's a big scandal actually going on at the moment. So Dana White, head of the UFC, has started a new sport, live sports.
Right.
You know, basically, remember years ago you used to see them videos of people like at championships like slapping each other in the face. So he has now started that, and he pays the fighters very poorly. Well, not fighters, slappers. He pays his slappers very poorly. Fucking lovely way to talk about him. But he pays his slappers very poorly. I think it's like 10 grand a fight, which for the risk and for the damage that's caused is fucking terrible.
Not even close.
Like, there was a video of a guy and his face, the side of his face was swollen. And the other guy, the guy whose face was fucked, actually won because the guy slapping him so much was like, I don't want to do this anymore because that's going to cause serious fucking harm. But Dana White, head of the UFC, is at the moment, you know, he's under a bit of controversy because he already, so just like rumours have said that he already pays his fighters very poorly, like the UFC fighters very poorly. He treats them very poorly. And just to go on and now support this and you know, fund this new, you know, erratic and very, very dangerous live sport. You know, I think he's fucking stupid, mate.
No, something like that. It is just it's not regulated as much. So like with boxing, especially like with pro boxing, you see a lot of the time they have the headgear, they have the gloves, that sort of thing, because that's there for the protection of the fighters.
It's the regulations, yeah.
Because if it's not there, then people get really seriously hurt, and then that's when you start talking hospitalisation or something. Don't get me wrong, it does still happen, but it happens far less with having all that sort of stuff than not having it. So with, as you're saying, the slapping thing, it's because they don't have headgear or anything like that, because the whole idea is slapping each other around the face. There's more permanent damage caused in each slap than what would be in, like, I don't know, 20 boxing punches.
Mate, it can have. That's the thing though. Like, it's a tough one because boxing has been under question as a sport for many years.
Yeah.
Especially after Chris Eubank Senior, that fight he had with I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but he had a fight and he seriously he hurt someone and they got permanent brain damage.
Yeah.
And he feels terrible for it. It's been talked about a lot.
Yeah.
But again, that could have happened to anyone. Like the way Mike Tyson used to fight, it's a miracle he didn't put anyone in a wheelchair for life.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times he would hit and the power he would use with those hits, he was a monster.
Yeah.
So it can happen to anyone. Like all it would take is for someone's skull or a part of their head to be softer than another part.
Yeah.
And you hit that exact point. And that's it. It can happen to anyone, but again, like with this, it's not just about the harm caused. It's the fact that Dana White, who is already, a questionable character, leadership wise, is now funding and developing this slapping fucking thing. Oh, fuck off, man.
Just fucking leave it alone.
Fucking leave
just
off,
don't
man.
even do it, bro. We don't want your fat around. Oh, because you are very stupid. Not little stupid. Big stupid. I know, it's stupid.
You don't fucking say.
And it makes people stupid. Because, slapping each other around the face. Keir, stop slapping me. I'll have to report you to the RSPCA for cyberbullying. Work that one out.
Yeah, fucking.
Fuck you. But no, it's as I said, it's stupid. People need to just realise that some people are willing to go to such extreme lengths for stupid stuff like that, because some people are going to like it, but in all honesty, mostly people will suffer, and you don't want people to suffer, really, do you?
Mate, this guy though, seriously, the video of this guy that they used as like an example, motherfucker looks like Glenn Quagmire. It's so bad.
Christ.
It is so bad. He's bleeding, and his face is swollen in parts that you wouldn't have ever thought would be swollen.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I bet that's like a quick way to stuff like cauliflower ear as well.
Like, he had fucking cauliflower face.
Fucking hell.
Mate, fucking cauliflower fucking cheekbones.
Jesus. Oh no, I mean, I must admit, I've not been like overly into like sort of fighting sports, that sort of thing. I mean, I'm not overly into sport as a whole, to be honest. I just sort of do me quite often. Just watch funny videos on YouTube. Just funny videos on YouTube.
Yeah, I love boxing. I love UFC.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of WWE anymore. It was alright when I was, a bit younger, and I'll be like, oh look, there's such and such like characters, and I think that's what they use these days. That's what they're aiming for. But boxing and fighting, the legends, like
it's the realness you get from that.
It's the legacies that certain people leave, i.e. like
Muhammad Ali. Very big example.
Absolutely. Who's that other guy that Muhammad Ali used to box? Is it George Foreman?
George Foreman, yeah.
George Foreman, but he was yeah. There's so many names that like that. It's just the fact that they leave behind such a legacy. I think it's quite cool.
Yeah.
You know, one person can just leave behind that much of a following. It's brilliant.
Yeah. And it is incredible because they would have put so much of their life and so much of the effort they have to go into creating that thing, and for it to remain for as long as like Muhammad Ali, for it to remain as long as his legacy has, it's incredible, and it will keep going for years and years to come.
Did you see him in his older years?
I didn't know.
Jesus, well, neither did I personally, but it is like, so I believe in the 80s, people started noticing that he was slurring his words quite a lot.
Yeah.
He wasn't diagnosed with anything, which is quite surprising because if you look at the interviews before he was, just before he was diagnosed, it's very, very noticeable that his words were slurring. He was fine, like very, very noticeable. He was slowing down quite a lot.
Yeah.
And it's only until I think it was like 83 or 84 he got diagnosed with I believe it was Parkinson's, like some sort of Parkinson's disease.
I think I remember hearing that, yeah.
And it's so sad, but it's so, it's so like heartwarming, not to sound like a bit of a fucking pansy, but it's so heartwarming to see someone who dedicated their life to sort of boxing and that kind of sport, who now can never ever do that again. And yet he would still crack jokes and still, and still support the boxing thing. There was one last fight between Muhammad Ali and someone, and that's when they knew that he didn't have it in him anymore because the Parkinson, whatever disease it was taking over too much, and he got seriously clobbered. And Mike Tyson was a big fan of Muhammad Ali, and he said, "I'm going to get him." And the guy who beat Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, fucking destroyed him, mate. Really destroyed him. But yeah, again, I just like the fact that one person can just leave behind such an amazing legacy and be part of history. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I think it is as well. Like, and it's not even just limited to fighting sports. There's so many other places. So, for instance, the one that I think of when I think of motorbikes, for instance, Valentino Rossi, incredible motor rider,
mate. He is a part of history. If you are into any, what's it called? Is it
MotoGP?
MotoGP, MGP, yeah. If you're into any of that, you will know that name.
Yeah.
Valentino.
You'll know that name, and you'll know the colours instantly. Blue and yellow, straight away in your head. I mean, just think of the Yamaha he rode. Oh my god, it was a gorgeous, gorgeous bike, and it's just, it's a piece of history, motorbike history, that thing, and it will forever go down in that area because he was his legend, like, and it forever will be a legend because he built so much foundation for what he did. It was just incredible. Like, you could just sit there watching him race, and you'll think, how.
That's why I think, like, going back to like social media as well, it's really shit if you think about it, because someone who has no sort of, no offense to YouTubers or anything, that solely do YouTube and don't do boxing or music or whatnot.
Yeah.
So people who make YouTube videos and solely YouTube videos can now become famous and can now become, like, not to sort of backtrack or anything, but that fucking guy Paul Breach, the fucking dirty bastard on TikTok, he is literally known nationwide, like nationwide, mate. He has been all over the joint, and everywhere he goes he will be spotted, videoed, recorded and uploaded. That is mental. He is literally notorious. But that's the thing about social media is, back in the day, like Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, as you said, Valentino, we got people like Lewis Hamilton, in recent years, You got
Pele, footballer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, footballers, they all had a talent, and they were all known for that talent, and very, very well known, and they made it. You know, across the world
because
globally.
they possessed a genuine, actual talent.
Yeah. Whereas these days, you can literally like hop on a computer or even your phone, take a little video, it be funny, and you'll be known around the world. And I think that's shit, because I feel like the sort of the value of fame has like degraded so much over time. It's like anyone can get famous. They literally can.
Realistically, there's like two things you need. If you're good looking or funny, that's it. You're famous. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah. If you look at like on the context of funny, you look at comedians who do it as a lifestyle, as a career. That's different, because they base their whole life around being it. But most people, when it comes to like actually doing a video or something like that, just for the shits and giggles and trying to be funny like that, it's not how comedy and that sort of thing should be illustrated, because it's the problem with that sort of style of comedy is it dulls down what true comedy is meant to be.
Yeah, well, I think with true comedy though, and I've noticed this, that there is definitely different levels of humour and comedy. Oh, yeah. So like, and there's a comedian out there for everyone, which is you know. But if you're like someone like me, who, you know, I see the funny side of a lot of things. I like comedians like Ricky Gervais, you know, Mo Gill, even like sort of like the contrast there. Like you've got Ricky Gervais, who's very dry sense of humour, very like sort of sarcasm based. But again, like, you know, he is a very funny man. And apart from that, he doesn't just use those mannerisms. Then you got someone like Mo Gilligan, who uses sort of like that modern Londoner type mannerisms. You know, that's very funny as well. But yeah, like I said, there's a comedian out there for everyone. Like Lee Evans, very very cartoon person. Literally a cartoon.
Literally a rubber face.
Yeah, literally, mate. Yeah, like there's people that find Stephen Fry funny, who I think is fucking boring. Like Stephen Fry to me is fucking boring, but fucking, you know, Gary up the road might think he's the funniest cunt about.
Yeah.
It's you know, and it, you know.
It's like Russell Howard is one that I always think of. I always enjoy Russell Howard. He's hilarious.
Good. But the thing is, he's so simple with him. Because all he does, like, well, on his, like, you know, renowned, well, like, Russell Howard's Good News TV show that was going for years. I don't know if it still is, but all he would do, and literally all he would do, is take clips of TV shows and news shows out of context and make people laugh. Yeah,
just take the piss out of something, and that's literally what it was. Yeah. He'd take a situation and make a comedic anecdote to it, and that's what's funny. Like, it just is. Or even if you look at so the first comedy act I ever went to see live was Joe Pasquale.
Oh, Joe Pasquale, was that the woman?
No, it's a man.
Are you sure?
Yes, it's a man.
But I thought he was a woman.
No, Joe Pasquale.
That's Joe thingy.
You're thinking of
Joe Brand.
Joe Brand.
Yeah.
But Joe Pasquale, he's the guy who voiced Underdog. If I've had an accident, it wasn't my fault. You've not heard that advert? Hang on a sec.
Is he the guy with the beard?
Let me get you a photo of Joe Pasquale. You may not recognise him. Pasquale. This man. That's Joe Pasquale.
Oh, him.
He's got very slapstick comedy, which I quite like. So
slapstick comedy.
So when I went to one of his shows, he had this little. He has quite a lot of props and things like that. And there was one thing he did. The thing at the end, I'll talk about it in a sec. He had a box, and he had different items that he'd pull out of this box. And one of them was these two toy rabbits. He set them down on the table, one facing that way and one behind it facing the same direction. And he'd turn around, and the rabbit behind would start humping the rabbit in front. He'd turn back and it would stop. He'd turn around again and it would start humping again. funniest shit you ever saw in that moment. By the thought now, it's not funny. I mean, I'm smiling, but it's not overly funny. But you look back at it, I mean, you look at clips of Joe Pasquale's shows and things like that. It's very slapstick, but it's good slapstick. It's British slapstick. It's not like American shit, because Americans aren't funny at all.
I agree with that, and that bringing it back to like levels of comedy. So in England, the comedians there's like the levels of comedy here. Like there's so many different types of comedy. Like as you said, slapstick comedy. I think it isn't really funny, but again, you find it very funny.
It's hit and miss with a lot of people.
But with Americans, mate, that I'll see on like YouTube Reels, an American, apart from the one that there's a couple that are good because they are genuinely funny, but that's because of the way they look or the way they talk or whatever. Pete Davidson, Kevin Hart, and
I'm a bit hit and miss with Kevin Hart. Sometimes he is.
I think he's a bit over the top sometimes. But back to American comedians, they're sort of, I feel like they're behind with humour. Yeah. They're very, and are very as well. A lot of American comedians are a little bit shy. Like the humour, the American humour is quite. It's timid. Not as out there.
It's timid.
As like sort of like Ricky Gervais talking about a fucking spunking dick. Yeah. You know,
a fucking plane crash.
Yeah, I just American comedians. I don't know, man.
They don't quite get it yet, and I don't think they will for a while. I must admit, Aussies have caught up. There's some really funny Aussies.
Absolutely.
One American comedian I quite like, Catherine Ryan. She's quite funny.
Don't know who that is.
You'd know her. You would know her. Get another photo up for you. Catherine Ryan. This lady.
Nope.
Watch some of her stuff. Her stuff is good as well. Catherine Ryan, she's one of the very few American comedians that I like. There's another one, he's not actually American, he's a Mexican guy, and I cannot for the life of me remember his name. He's a big guy.
Big guy, bald.
Yeah. Iglesias is his surname, I think. I can't remember his first name. But I find him hilarious. He does the thing I like is I'm drawn to accents, and he does a lot of accent stuff in his bits, and I like that. I find that funny.
You know who else is funny as well? Because I feel like he understands the levels of comedy.
Yeah.
Jeff Dunham.
Oh my god, Jeff Dunham is elite.
Yeah.
The fact that he's able to do what he does, ventriloquism alone, is a very difficult
and make it funny on the daily as well,
and have all those different voices. Yeah. I mean, his standard. He's got Ahmed the Dead Terrorist. He's got Peanut. He has Bubba J, and then there's Walter. Just those four are his standard.
Oh yeah.
And he can do all four of them a different voice. I mean, obviously it has his inflection because it's his voice that does it. But they have different accents. They have different pronunciations, that sort of thing. So they are four different people, in essence.
Yeah,
and it's
I
just
think,
incredible.
Yeah, for an American actor, I think Americans are getting onto it though, because people like Seth MacFarlane, who does all the voices for Family Guy.
Yeah,
that show is fucking hilarious. You know, and he does films like Ted, which was like Ted 1 and 2 were like two of the funniest films I've ever fucking seen. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like some Americans are getting onto, like, they're cottoning onto, I understand the levels of comedy. Yeah. And I can make it funny, not just for people in America, but for people over in the UK and Europe as well. So yeah. Why the fuck did we start talking about comedians, mate? What the fuck is going on?
I was just thinking the same thing and I have no idea.
What the fuck is going on?
But people like comedians. Yeah. I hope you guys like comedians, because, people like to laugh. But it's like you said, it's even to the point where Stephen Fry, it's intelligence humour. It's all about
that's the thing. It's the intellect humour. Yeah.
Some things of his I find funny, most of it I don't. But to those that do find it funny, they find it quite funny.
Well, that bloke off Mock the Week, that Irish guy.
Oh God!
You know who I'm on about? Don't you? He's bald. Some people find him quite funny.
Yeah.
And I don't see why. Because I don't know. It doesn't.
I'll tell you who one of my favourite Irish comedians are. Shane Todd. He's got a podcast as well. It's a podcast called Tea With Me. He also did another podcast with my favourite author, Hazel Hayes, called We're Not Fucking Historians. Incredible podcast. You learn about Irish history in it. Anyway, I'm sidetracking. He is just hilarious. You listen to some of his podcasts, and he gets some of his. He literally does it with his mates. Sometimes he does celebrities, that sort of thing, but most of the time he does it with his mates. He's got one friend called Sean Bartlett, and oh my god, when he's on there, it's just hilarious. It's just some of the stuff they talk about, and Sean Bartlett, he's a big guy. He's quite chunky, and he talks about food a lot, and it's just some of the stuff they say. It's just I'm belly laughing the whole time. It's so good. But yeah, so if there's any Irish comedian I could recommend you listening to or watching, whatever, it's Shane Todd. He's just peak Irish humour. And I mean, I must admit, I do have a thing for the Irish accent as well. Something about it, I love it. I can't get enough of it, you know. And I did work with an Irishman, but he works during the day now, and I work during the night, so I don't get to hear his accent anymore. But on the basis of the other podcast that Shane Todd does, We're Not Fucking Historians, Hazel Hayes, my favourite author, also my celebrity crush. She has a gorgeous voice. I love her voice. It's so nice. It's soothing, but it has that higher inflection to it where it's a bit more. It sounds a bit richer as well. But it's not it's not such a thick accent that you can't understand it either. It's smooth enough for you to understand the English, but thick enough for it to still sound Irish.
Those heavy Irish accents are fucking hard to understand.
Same with Scottish.
Oh yeah.
So we've got my mum has a friend who works at a pub over in Sevenoaks, and he has a really heavy Scottish accent because he's like a deep Scotsman, and you have to be like, everything else doesn't exist.
Yeah,
it's
you
just
have
you
to
and him
focused.
Yeah. You have to be like really listening hard to understand what he says. Everything else doesn't matter. It's just you like that, and you won't understand anything else anyone says. You're just hyper focused. And I had the same with another teacher. I had I think it was a Welsh teacher, had a very thick Welsh accent, and you had to really focus on what they were saying. And it got to the point where I was drained by the end of the lesson, so I started teaching myself. I was like, I'm not learning any chemistry like this. I'm just going to start teaching myself. So I did. I went from a grade C up to a grade A. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. But yeah. What about you? What would you say your favourite accent is?
I do like an Irish accent. I will agree with you there. I used to like the Australian accent, and then I don't know. I feel like if one exaggerates an English accent, it sounds very similar. I like the Russian accent.
Yeah, there's something enticing.
Very
Russian.
Very, I like that.
But then you could also say that about the Spaniards as well. They roll their R's quite a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I don't really. There's no accents.
Not one specific that sticks out to you.
No, not the one that appeals to me. No, like the Irish accent though is one. Again, like yourself. Yeah. I like that one. But yeah.
I think it's like, I like the.
I like Welsh as well. I do like the Welsh accent.
There's a soothing. I find what the Welsh accent is a soothingness about.
No, I feel like I don't feel like it's soothing. I feel like I think it's because of the tone that they have to use in their accent. It's very like. It's funny to me. You know, it makes me laugh.
Yeah, it might be because the only Welsh woman that I know personally, she has quite a soft, soothing voice. So it's like, well, no, laddie, what do you think about that? That's an Irish accent, but you know. But so she's got that. She's got quite a soft accent. So she's quite clearly a Welsh accent, but she's got a soft sounding voice at the same time. Which, don't get me wrong, it's a nice sound, but as I said with the Irish, I like the the firmness of the English with the rich tones of the Irish from it. Fucking hell, I sound like I'm making a fucking cake and reviewing it.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Ryan's Toys reviews, man.
The firmness of the sponge with the richness of the buttercream. Well, I think we've done a solid hour and a half here, mate. I think you look pretty tired. I think you want to go to bed, don't you?
Slightly.
Slightly.
Slightly want to go to bed.
Well, yeah, it's been good, been fun, been a bit of a chilled.
Bit of a Ramblers episode, I believe.
Ramblers, another Ramblers.
Yeah, another Ramblers
couple Ramblers.
episode, yeah.
What say you? We come up with a theme for the next one, eh? We won't do it now because sort of give it away, but just leave you in suspense.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll come up with a theme for the next one. See what we do. But no, I think it'd be good, and I think it'd be better to not leave it till midnight to record a damn episode.
Probably fucking not, mate. It's not a good idea.
No, especially when you're wrapped up in a pizza blanket right now.
I'm wrapped up in a
He's
pizza
wrapped
blanket.
up in a pizza blanket.
I do feel like a nice greasy slice of pepperoni pizza.
You look like a nice greasy slice of pepperoni pizza wearing a toga.
Do I look good to you?
No.
Oh, okay, that's fucking shit then.
That's because I am straight as an arrow.
Right, well, we shall see you guys.
Yes, it's been jolly good. Lovely talking to you again, not with you necessarily.
Talking down to you.
Yes.
Bitch.
But anyway, yeah. So remember, leave us a like, give us a little sub, hit the notification bell, and share it with all your friends, share it with your family, share it with your dog. Whoever's gonna listen, because Keir's had a rough day. So yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Don't forget, it's all shits and giggles until someone giggles and shits.
Bye.